Alright y'all, welcome back to another video here on the John Doc YouTube channel. You guys know, we're talking about Charlie Murphy. We've got a little series going on with it. I got a bunch of different modifications. I'd say small ones, but necessary ones for the things that I want to do with this vehicle. I want to be able to make it consistent, make it drive straight, and go pretty quick. I think if we can get it down the 550 range, I'd be pretty happy with it. The first thing that I'm going to do, the first run of modifications, I'd say are aimed more towards safety, but also they're good improvements to any really drag car or car you're going to run at the strip quite frequently. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a new set of tires, because these are some old, smoked, dry rotted set of Mickey Thompson 275 Radial Pros. The 275 Pro is what I run on just about everything. That is I run it from my street cars to my race cars. The Black Sheep's on it, the Cow's on it, Silverback Z06, the Bad Apple. Guys go 380s on this tire, so for everyone at home that's man, 275 is just not a good enough tire. If you can't make this tire work, there's two things. You're either racing a track that's shit, or you don't have your car set up right. Most of the tracks that we go to are pretty decent. At least that's what I go to. I don't really do a lot of no preps with the cars that I'm talking about right now. Some of the other stuff will run a Pro Bracket Radial, which is what's on the car right now. Those are Chase's wheels and tires, so I gotta get those off and bring them back to them. But I want to be able to drive this a little bit more, and I would say as far as street strip goes, this one's going to be quite frequently driven on the street around town. It's got a big radiator. Once I get that fan shroud fixed, it should cool perfectly fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw this set of Mickey Thompson ET Street SS on there. They have the same size as 275 60 15, so it's a 28-inch tall tire, but it's just, it's really the same tire, it just has tread on it. I don't see any problem going 550s on this tire. Back in the day, when they were running Radial versus the World on the 315, it was a tire with tread, and they were going 200 miles an hour. So not so much the water tread on here that it really is worrying. I don't see any problem going fast on these tires. It's what I have around, it's what I have available. And I was going to put them on the Colorado, but I had a set of Mickey Thompson ET Street R's that we ended up putting on there, which are a little bit more aggressive than those, so I figured those would be perfect to put on here. Eventually, if we start running no prep with this, it'll probably have a slick on it, but for right now, I want Alora, my girlfriend, to drive a little bit. I want Wes, Logan, all them, and the radials just drive a whole lot better. So what I got planned for today is we're going to throw a new set of tires on these wheels, and we're going to swap out Chase's wheels so we can get those back, and then I'm going to install a set of Kirky seats. I would say everybody knows the Kirky seat. It is the #1 go-to drag seat, I believe. It's just an aluminum seat. It's pretty lightweight. They're pretty cost-effective. You can get different seat covers for them. They're pretty comfortable. I literally run them in everything. I got this extra one, which is going to go in the Colorado. We run them in the Bad Apple. They're in the Cow. They're in Wes's car. They're in the Black Sheep. I'm not going to be running them in the Salty Chicken. I got a carbon fiber bucket, so it's a bucket that you then pour in foam. That's Pro Mod-ish, but the Black Sheep has these seats. They're extremely comfortable. If you're gonna be running at the track a lot, I highly recommend running these. They have the holes to run your belts through. They're a pretty safe seat. Guys go very fast on these, and I would highly recommend it. As I mentioned in the last video, I got the Racecraft seat brackets for the SN95 or Fox body, so these are gonna bolt right in, so it should make installation a breeze. I already got the belts thrown in the car, and I'm gonna clean it. I'm gonna get started with today's video. I'm gonna swap these tires out, and we'll get rolling here. Alright, the old Jegstar, we got the first one off. One thing I do want to note, when you put drag radials on, don't ever use the tire lube. Don't use that, don't use the soap stuff. You got to put them on dry, because I learned the hard way. I had a set of Dark Stars, which are similar to this. As you guys can see in here, there's no I don't know, it's ribbed on welds and other wheels, and when you set the tire on there and you set the bead, it pushes up against the ribbed part and it makes it hard for the tire to slip. Obviously these are smooth, so it's a lot easier to spin a tire in there. If you put that lube stuff on there, As soon as you hit it hard, it's going to spin the tire inside the rim, and you're done. And with bead locks especially, I mean, you have to use any. It's much easier to put a wheel on a bead lock. It's much easier to put a tire on a bead locked rim, especially double bead lock. But if you're doing this, I mean, these are cheap wheels. They're the Jeg Stars or whatever. I mean, whatever you call them. It's just like a V-Series knockoff made by Jegs. Don't use any lube. It might suck, but just put them on there dry. Sometimes you got to do it. Alright, first one done, and you can see these are like the same tire height-wise. Obviously, this one's not inflated, this one is inflated, but they're 275 60/15s, and you can see these tires are just absolutely spent. They've seen better days. It's been a hot minute since I put a tire with tread, a drag radial with tread, I should say, on there, but we got the driver's side done, and I think it's going to look good on there. I think it's going to work well, and I'm excited because if you get caught out in the rain with this tire, you'll be able to make it home. If you get it caught out in the rain with these, you're going 25 miles an hour. Ask me how I know. One thing I will say is this tire, like numbers wise, like 275 60/15 is the same as the Radial Pro, and they say the Radial Pro is the same as the Pro brackets. This is definitely narrower of a tire. It's definitely, these are some thick old boys, and I mean, we're just talking about very minimally here, but definitely not as thick. One thing that I do when I fill them up per Mickey Thompson, after I spun a tire on a rim, I called them and I talked to them. They said when you first mount tires, blow them up to like 35 40 psi and let them sit there for a while, for like, I think they say like 2 to 4 hours, and that helps set the bead. So I got these pumped up right now about 35 psi, and they're hanging in there. I don't know why I pulled it onto like the lift. I pulled it onto the lift like I was going to put it up in the air. I'm not going to check the wastegates right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the seat out and I'll put the Kirky seat in, because priorities, I'd rather have a race seat in there than the wastegates working correctly. That's how I roll, boys. That's how I roll. You guys should know by now, this is how I do things. Alright, here is the gross interior. It only had one bolt holding this side in here, so I'm gonna have to find another one. We got the two back here, two 15s and like a 13, I think, but I took it off with a 15. I don't know, they might all be 15s. Who knows? That one was about stripped. So we'll clean it up. I'm gonna vacuum in here. As you guys can see, I already got the belts in here. Take the seat buckle and where this belt attaches off here, and that's where I'm gonna put my harnesses using the same hardware, and then I should be pretty close to just throwing it right back in there. Alright guys, we got the Kirky seat in there mocked up. I'm going to pull it apart because I have to lock everything down, but I'm going to show you these Racecraft seat brackets are pretty nice. I got another set for the passenger seat, but Wes and I have been sitting in there and everything seems to fit. it's been a busy evening. I got my truck back per Shannon, so shout out to Shannon, Bloodbath Racing. Got my truck back perfect for storm season. Got my 2-speed 400 in, which you guys will see in tomorrow's video, and got this seat about locked in there. Mocked it up. We got to come forward like a ½ inch just because Allora's going to be driving it. You fitting it well. You're, I'd say, a pretty good basis. Phil and Ben are the two larger ones here, but you guys are, I mean, height-wise, and you guys are about the same. So, I mean, it felt pretty good up there. I can reach the pedals. I just want to move it up a touch so Allura can reach the pedals good. The angle of the seat seems to be up pretty good. We're going to bolt everything down and make it nice and rigid. I think I have to adjust the belts, but these belts are easy to adjust. The lap belts are perfect in adjustment, and then we just got to move it up and then lock everything down. So I pulled apart. Highly recommend these Racecraft seat brackets if you guys are running them. They're made for like 73 to 2004. They all run the same seat.
Everything up to like a S197.
Yeah.
So box body, SN95, 2-valve, all those are all going to be the same.
And how you've gone through the seat bracket scenario with the G body. I was lucky on the Cow. The Kirky universal seat brackets fit perfect because the floor is flat. It has 2 stands for the seats to bolt in. So literally, I just drilled a hole and then.
That's the thing with the G bodies. It's like they have, it's like basically like 2 little lumps where the stock seats bolt into. So you can't use the universal. So I ended up having to buy these off this like small like company that makes them. But I mean, these are super nice. What are RCI? You said?
Yeah, Racecraft Innovations. How long we've been at it? I mean, we've been at it for.
Maybe like 30 minutes.
And we already got the seat mocked up. We know we just need to move it forward just a touch, and then we're good. And I think it should. I think it'll meet everyone's needs.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. I mean, that's like super easy to install.
They have height in the back, and then height in the front. The front is going to control your tilt. So we're in the second hole from the bottom here, and then the bottom one here. When we put the seat cushion in there, it definitely made a huge difference.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
if you're going to run a seat cushion, I highly recommend that if you're going to mock it up with a seat cushion, because that's what you need. You really need to see what it's like when you're running. Luckily, this has a tilt wheel. However this thing tilts, there it is. So getting in and out.
That's how I'm going to drive it.
Yeah, getting in and out should be good, you know. And big thing, I just want everybody to reach the pedals. It's a lot different. Like race car, you solid mount a seat. Like obviously you're solid mounting this one, but you do it for yourself, so you find out what's comfortable. I'm just trying to make sure everyone.
It's hard to get a universal Kirky, you know what I mean? Because I mean, there's gonna be so many different people driving it between, you know, Phil to Allura.
That is like the full spectrum of height and weight.
Probably what Phil might be 6 foot 6'1",
yeah.
And Allura's 5'3", so
there's a good range there. All right, well we'll zip it apart. I'll show you guys when it's apart, and then we'll get it locked in there. All right, so here are the brackets. We got them mounted to the car, so they're sturdy. And as you can see, they have a bunch of different bolt holes, so you can go, you know, really, we have to use the ones on the outer side because we got a 17-inch hip width. I think it's actually 15 to 18.5 is the hip width that these seat brackets will hold. So we're on the outer ones here, but like when the bolt in there, it's like on the inner side of the outer bolt hole, if that makes any sense. We were right here. We're gonna move it about an inch up, so it shall accommodate Allura, and then bolt them right in. And then as you can see, you set the pitch and everything right here. So we got the pitch, the tilt right there, and then we got the seat height in the back locked in. So I'm gonna lock this in, set it on there, bolt it down, run my belts through, and then we should be good to go. Chris said to mock it up again, but I'm just gonna send it home.
Mock it up again.
Send it home?
Mock it up again.
Trust me.
It will be a pain in the ass if it's not right, because I had to do it like, I worked on that car for like 3 hours getting the seats right.
Chris, mock it up again or send it home?
Mock.
Oh, man, I'm gonna send it home. All right, we got the seat in there. I think the seat cover I stole from Phil. Don't tell Phil. And Phil, if you're watching this, I didn't steal this from you, all right?
If you don't watch any of your videos, it's fine.
I know, he doesn't. It seems to be that the seat cover's for like an 18-inch or 18.5, so it hangs over a little bit. But, I mean, I'm fine with it when you're sitting in there. It's comfortable. Seems to fit good. Everything's good. Allura can definitely reach the pedals. You can see out. It's got no cowl hood, so you can see really good. This should make the car feel a lot more safe and a lot more comfortable. Just got to tighten the bolts up, and then that's a wrap on it. So we got some new tires on it, so it'll be good there. I got some axles for it, which will do that a whole nother shebang. And I got different gear for it. That'll be a whole nother one on top of it.
What kind of gear you get?
410.
Oh.
410. We going for the bumper.
Boy.
So, yeah, guys, highly recommend it. Racecraft seats, racecraft seat bracket, Kirky seats. If you're doing anything to do with the drag strip, you're wearing a harness, get a Kirky seat. It's well worth it. I think it's one of the best upgrades you could do to your drag car. Do you agree?
I do.
Literally Kirky seats and everything. So that's going to wrap up today's video. We did some work today, getting stuff knocked out. The next thing on this, we're going to address the wastegate issue, but be sure to check out tomorrow's video. I've already mentioned it if you were catching on, but I got a badass purchase, one of my larger ones.
Is it the yellow thing in the back?
No, it's the thing in the room.
Oh.
Yeah, no, the yellow thing in the back, don't worry, I didn't buy a square body S10, I promise. I didn't buy it.
Don't tell him yet.
I didn't.
Don't tell him yet.
All right, guys, we'll check you in tomorrow's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy this video, please go down and click that subscribe button and have a great day.